graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
Don't touch, don't touch. LBDP. Love, but don't touch, don't touch. Don't touch, don't touch.
You can't touch this. You can't touch this. You can't touch this.
You bitches can go check your pussy and the gynecologist with no motherfucking problem. Yeah, bitch. Grandma can check her blood pressure. Yeah, bitch. Motherfucking healthcare. Yeah, bitch. People gotta go to fucking work to not get motherfucking paid. Nah, bitch. It's been a little over 3 weeks. Nah, bitch. I know a lot of y'all don't care. Nah, bitch.
Your podcast will fail.
It's just a coincidence that you were talking about the Jack and Triumph show and I'm here. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
Hey man, this is Kevin Smith, guy who makes all those unlistenable podcasts over at smodcast.com, and you're listening to the Two Strangers, One Podcast. This is podcasting.
You're listening to Two Strangers, One Podcast. Subscribe to us on iTunes or on the Stitcher app for Android devices. Please visit twostrangersonepodcast.net. Now, here's Chris Cologne and Paul Pasquillo.
Well, hello and welcome to Two Strangers, One Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Paul.
And my microphone is the one, as we were discussing.
Oh, God, Jesus. I'm just going to keep drinking here while you do this.
Well, right before the episode started, the microphone that I record on, and I don't think if the quality of the episode is bad, sometimes I have to upload it in a shitty, because my Wi-Fi sucks balls, so sometimes I have to upload it like in a lower quality. But I've had this microphone for, the podcast is coming up on like 7 years old now. In about 2-3 months, it'll be 7 years. I've had this microphone for like 6 of them. This is the one. This is the microphone. This has been dropped in book bags.
This is the one.
It's the one. This microphone's been with me longer than any fucking serious relationship I've ever been in.
What is this? What is this? Babylon 5 and Zathras? Jesus Christ. I used that reference, folks. Yeah, that's right.
It's my baby. It's been with me longer than I've been in certain relationships, longer than any relationship I've ever been with a person. In like a relationship, like a sexual relationship, or what's the word I'm looking for? Just a relationship, not friends, but this microphone's been my partner longer than people that have been in my life. So, because what we were talking about right before this episode started is I had. For the long-term listeners who really remember, when I first started doing the show, I was always pushing my eBay page. Well, times being the way they are, it's time to, tighten the belt and take care of some shit. So I've gotten my eBay, I've started my eBay page way up and running again. So, if you want to go on eBay, you can search for XL NYC. And I'm just selling, the stuff I started with is a lot of stuff from Comic-Con. And stuff that, you're not going to find in the store and stuff like that. I got some cool Halloween decorations from my old job, stuff that they were like literally going to throw in the garbage. And I'm like, it's like these cool, for horror movie fans, it's from this movie called Trick or Treat that came out about 10 years ago. And they were celebrating, this company was celebrating like the release of the Blu-ray. So, I guess the company that I was working at, they hired them to print out these things, and they look like the old school decorations. And so what I did is, when they were done printing, the companies like that, you always print more than what you need just in case there's an issue. And then they were literally going to throw them in the garbage, and I said, fuck you, I'll take them. So I got stuff like that, Comic-Con stuff, Green Lantern rings. I have, sometimes being the kind of person I am that you kind of collect things, you buy something, it's still in the box. You never took it out of the box. I got DC figures. I have, I put like 2-3 video games that I had unopened. Those fucking video games sold automatically. Cause what I do is I'll find the lowest, if it's something that's just been sitting there, and I'm never going to fucking open it, or, I'm waiting for this rainy day to fucking open it, and it's something, and, it sells online for, $20. I'll sell it for like $19.50. So, and most people who are like me, who always, when you go on eBay and you sort, lowest first, because I hate when they give you here's what matches the most. No, this is, you have some sort of, the algorithm always works in favor of, those people that are like, and whoever buys the first one you see, right? Don't you always sort it lowest to highest?
Yeah.
That's like the general rule. so like I said, if it's something that costs like $20, I'll charge $19.50. So it's the first thing. And, I've made a couple bucks so far. I mean, nothing to fucking write home about, but, I'm hoping that as I go more and more, you put a little bit here, a little bit there. So then, maybe I'll be, we'll get that ball rolling soon. And for those people who've been following the show, I am now officially full-time, and I mean, I won't see that paycheck until next week, but it's nice. It's nice sitting at home and working from home. So if I want to get up and take a shit, I can get up and take a shit. If I want to go and, you should be fapping. Yeah, you should be fapping. If you want to fap, you can fucking just, hey, I don't feel, I'm going to put work aside for a little bit.
I really hope you're not fapping as well as doing that.
No. I mean, I say like doing like, like if you're working, and then like sometimes you get the urge to just crank one out. You could just, go to a different browser, bring up your porn site of choice. Mine happens to be xnxx.com. Yeah, you crank one out. You get back to
I'm just
work.
gonna keep doing stuff on the computer and then just ignore you.
And let me tell you, it's been good. It's good that I've been staying home because one today, what they said I heard two different versions. I heard the wind was 35 miles per hour. Then I heard someone said 70 miles per hour, but I don't think that's right. Even though we had like 100 mile an hour like 2 years ago, like
right.
Across from where I live, a fucking tree was ripped out of the ground. So I heard 30 miles an hour. I heard 15 miles an hour. All I'm saying is that my house was fucking like when the wind blew, like not that my house was like shaking, not like earthquake, but you felt it in the house. Like the wind was blowing really hard. You'll hear it against the windows. So, it's nice that I don't have to go outside and deal with that fucking bullshit. And just last week, since our last episode, we had the fucking polar vortex, and these things seem to be coming a lot more frequently. Because remember, this isn't we've had a polar vortex relatively recently, other than the one that we just had. And, up here in upstate New York, up in Rochester, up here, negative 15 degrees, and like, it's one of those deals where like, that's where you literally have to have everything covered. You can't go out without gloves. You can't go out without some sort of head covering. Cause if not, your fingertips will freeze, and it's like literally damaging, for you to be outside. You get what they call exposure, I mean, obviously, you're not going to stand out there and continue to, but homeless people that are not too sharp in their heads, older people that remember, did you hear in the news or something like that? There was like I had heard through the grapevine that there was like an old guy that died outside.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how true that is, so don't quote me on that, but, an older person, doesn't have all their faculties. They go outside, this kind of weather will kill you, not to mention, you got cars sliding on the road. Up by us, we had there was a video on the local highway of a 16-wheeler tractor trailer sliding sideways. Like it was facing the way traffic was supposed to go, but gravity and the black ice had it just go sideways to the left, which is fucking terrifying. So I don't want to go out in this fucking weather. It's too fucking cold under a blanket. I'm working. And what else was there? There was the polar vortex, there was the wind. I could have sworn there was something, but I was reading somewhere. I was looking online because I was always looking up the weather, and it was like, where the national average snow is 34 inches in a year, Rochester gets 89 inches in a year. So it just shows you, but then that's what I wanted to say, and it shows you how freaky the weather is, because like with global warming, because while we're suffering the fucking polar vortex, Australia is having one of its hottest summers on record. Since they're south of the equator, our winter is their summer, and with us having the high, super cold, they're also getting it super hot. So, something's not quite, something's not right going on here. So what did you do for the Super Bowl?
Worked.
You worked?
Worked.
I had read somewhere, and I really should start fucking like keeping track of where I get all this stuff from. But it said that weekend was the lowest movie weekend in like years. Like the weekend of the Super Bowl.
it had more to do with
for movies and stuff.
The movies were terrible. There's that, and it is what it is.
Yeah. So you were working while the game was playing?
Oh yeah.
And
yes.
Congratulations on your promotion.
Oh, I'm very happy. Trust me.
So you and I are both moving up in the world. You got a nice little bump in pay, and now now I'm working full time. So that's at least things in that realm are doing good.
Yeah, at least in that realm.
But and it's one of those deals where like watching the Super Bowl. I'm not a sports guy. I really don't care. And especially, I don't know, maybe it's because I've alienated everybody I know, but like nobody, or at least not on Facebook, no one let me know that there's no one's having like a Super Bowl party. Like, for some reason, it just feels like years ago people had, and I guess maybe because also, here upstate New York, we really don't give a shit about New England, even though we're physically close to them. Or we definitely don't care about LA. So maybe they're, if it was like for more closer teams, like if the Bills fucking made a deal with the devil and somehow made it to the Super Bowl, they'd probably be parties up here. Cause, I'm watching
there would be parties all over. You kidding me?
And it's sort of like, for me to watch a game, cause at least if I go to a friend's house and the game is on and like my friends obviously have someone that they're rooting for, I can sit there and go, okay, I'm going to root for, like if I was with friends and stuff like that. And generally, I mean, also just being a New Yorker and hating, Boston and the like, obviously I was rooting against, Tom Brady. Cause, he's a cheater, there's he's handsome, he's wealthy, he's charming, he has a supermodel wife. There's many reasons to hate this man. So I was definitely rooting against him, but it's more fun, like, if I was in a group of people, because then I could kind of, like, you could bounce off it. I was watching the game, and, I had my daughter with me, and my daughter's sort of doing her own thing. She's not really watching. And it's funny, because she even says, Dad, you hate football. Because she's heard me say it a bunch of times. Because sometimes, like, I like to watch stuff on Fox. Sunday nights, it's usually, Simpsons and Family Guy. And, like, sometimes, like, the football game will preempt them. Like you turn on the TV at 8 o'clock to watch The Simpsons and there's a fucking football game going on. I'm like, motherfucker, I hate that shit. And so, yeah, I am not a football fan. And so even like my daughter's like, why are you watching this game if you don't like football? And I'm like, well, this is kind of an important game. Everyone's going to be talking about it tomorrow. So I kind of want to watch it. And of course, I'm definitely the very casual fan where I'm watching it more for the commercials than the actual game itself. Which, I mean, and it's funny because, it's just like we've gone to an age now where these things get put on fucking YouTube. Now, luckily this year, nothing was really spoiled for me because usually the past couple of years, sometimes they put out the commercials early. And not that I was actively avoiding them, but like I saw like maybe two or three commercials, like, like that people have shared online, but I wasn't like actively looking at them. There was one good surprise one, and I will talk about it in a little bit. But the first one was the Avengers Endgame trailer, which I blinked for a second and missed it. Like, why did they even bother? Cause they put out a trailer, about a month ago for Endgame. And the one that they put out, now mind you, had they never put out that trailer, the Avengers trailer, like a month ago, or whenever that one came out, I would have been so jazzed about this. Just seeing anything from Endgame would have made me super excited. But like, they had like a teaser length trailer. It's like literally a 30-second trailer for a movie, which obviously, I mean, of course it's big money, and it's not like, why spend all that money for the Super Bowl when they know we're gonna come. they know we're gonna go see it. I think they kind of put the commercial to Super Bowl because they kind of felt like, well, we have to advertise. It's gonna, it's the crown jewel of the Marvel movies right now. And of course, yes, there's Captain Marvel, and yes, there's Spider-Man, and all the other movies. But we kind of have to put this. We can't not put something out. But it was sort of, like I said, it was super quick. It was, they really didn't show anything like super new. It was cool to see like Rocket Raccoon wearing his, and this stuff slides into the nerdy news, but we could talk about it now because it's kind of like their everyday Super Bowl stuff. Rocket Raccoon wearing his more traditional outfit, the one that looks like a band leader. What they call those? The guy that the kids in like in the marching band or whatever. He looks like someone of those. The whole commercial had that. It was that weird stylized thing where everything was in black and white except for like one thing on the screen. So like they had like they showed Spider-Man, but like Spider-Man was like he was the only thing red on the screen, and the Captain America like only his shield. The highlights, the red highlights in the shield. So it was this weird stylized commercial, and like it literally, I missed half the commercial because like I turned my head for a second, and it was like the first commercial after the break, and I turned my head for a second, and I turned back, and I'm like, oh shit, that was the fucking Avengers commercial. Like I was like halfway through it, and and I missed like I don't want to say I missed it, but I mean I kind of missed half of it, and then I saw it, and of course 10 minutes later it's on YouTube, and I love how like you'll go on YouTube and you'll search and you'll see the video and it has 10 million views, and it's not even like the Marvel one. It's not even like the one Marvel like officially released. It's like some weird some weird like Alibaba movies or some shit like that. Like how the fuck did they get it and it got 10 million views before fucking Marvel? But I guess if you release it fast enough and more people watch it through sharing. If someone puts it on Facebook, I'm going to just watch it on Facebook. I'm not going to like, let me go to youtube.com and type for Avengers Endgame, Super Bowl trailer. If someone already shared it on Facebook, I'll just click on that link. So I guess that's probably how those numbers get high for something that's like obviously a bootleg. And I don't think like Alibaba movies fucking, gets a copyright strike. And, in Marvel, they're not going to push it because, hey, it's a fucking commercial. They're not stealing content; they're stealing a commercial, which is, the money's going to go in their pockets anyway. And dude, like I fell asleep during the third quarter. They said it was the lowest scoring game in the history of like the Super Bowl, 13-3.
Well, it should have been the Saints, but
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. But yeah, during the third.
Dude, we could have a whole conversation about that, but I'm not even going to do that.
I didn't watch the game, so I mean I don't know how much I can contribute, but. But from what I understand, there was a lot of people that were furious. Saints had their opportunity robbed from them by, the blind refs. And I guarantee you, dude, 10, 15 years from now, we learned about Inflategate years later. I guarantee you 10, 15 years from now, there's a story brewing here somewhere. There's people who are making big money and that are influencing these fucking refs and stuff like that. And I mean, it's like anything else, everybody has a price. And, if you push hard enough, I'm pretty sure, you could squeeze anybody you like. And so I guarantee you, you heard it here first. There's going to be something that makes Inflategate look like a fucking kid's, kindergarten party. I guarantee you there's some major rig. But then again, like, I don't give a shit about football. So, but you heard it here first. There was a trailer for why do I have all this? I have all this in my fucking in my nerdy news. Let's move on. We'll go back to the Super Bowl ads. We got Valentine's Day coming up. And I had posted just recently, earlier today, I posted a picture of they're selling bacon roses, where they take a piece of bacon and they roll it up to look like a rose and they put it on the top of this fake stem. And the funny thing, the website that it was selling, it was like, we're so booked that even if you order right now, we can't, like, it's a week before Valentine's or whatever, like, we can't even fulfill any orders by Valentine's Day. We're that booked up. But, and once again, this is kind of a conversation we're having for the episode, these dating sites, now that my money, now that I'm kind of getting a raise, I mean, I'm working more hours, I'm getting paid for more hours. I'm playing with the idea of using these dating sites. And like last year, I want to say either early last year, I had used, I'm on OkCupid or whatever. And so they have like a deal where, well, it's like you could use OkCupid for a month and pay $20. And I know there was like a middle one, and they were like, or you could use the site for $8 a month for the next 6 months. And my thing is that, what does that tell you about the site and their confidence in finding you a date if they're going to have a 6-month plan? It's going to take me 6 months for you to find somebody to hook me up with? You know, and it's not like these fucking sites. It's not like the one, there's a few options that are added when you have a paid account. Cause like cause you could like somebody, you could like someone's profile. You do a thing and it likes, but the way the website works is the website doesn't let them know you like them unless they like you. So it's sort of like,
yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah, cause I've gotten those. I've gotten it's a match, you know, and so, you know, they'll let you know. And then also like, and let's be real here, you know, when you're sorting through, cause there's these options you can sort through, you know, and you could age range, and then there's body type. And look, I'm a fat fuck, but you know,
did you know there's an app for that? No. Okay, no.
Well, I'm just saying is, you know, obviously, you know, you know, and is call me a self-hating fat man, you know, if I
self-hating fat man?
Yeah. You know.
No, I was calling you a self-hating fat man. There you go.
But I'm just saying is obviously if I'm looking for a girl, I'm looking for more thinner chicks. You know, let's fucking be real. And the whole thing is that if you
everybody is, unfortunately.
If you don't, that option, if you're using the free version of the app, that doesn't show up. You know, you can't search for body type. You know, you could do like age range, like, you know, which is, you know, cause let me tell you, women over the age of 55 love me. You know, if I ever wanted to go the fucking cougar route, and when I say cougar, I use the phrase very fucking loosely because these women are over 55 and look over 55. You know, these aren't women over 55. They look like they're in their 40s. And like I said, look, I'm a fat guy, and look, guys are looking for skinny girls. Girls are looking for rich guys. Let's you know, girls like a guy that could take care of the bills, and men like women that look good in tight jeans. It's the fucking, you know, and yeah, we could sit here and bullshit ourselves, and like, you know, you get what it, like, you know, and look, I married a heavyset woman, you know, I've dated heavyset women, you know, you settle. You find someone you're like, you know, I guess
I don't think I wouldn't say that you have to settle. I would say more or less that it's, you know, you fall in love with somebody, you like what you see, and you want to be with that person, but it's like, you know.
It's settle as in, I know I'm not going to get any better than this. So, you know, let's hook up, you know. Wow, this is real fucking jaded and sick. So, yeah, but once again, with these dating sites, it's sort of like, why are you charging me? Why do you have a 6-month plan? You know, hopefully if you do your shit right, you know, I'd have, you know, and obviously the first couple, you know, you're going to go on a couple of dates, and maybe, you know, you have to go through a couple of bad ones, you know, and trust me, I've had a couple of awkward first dates, you know. Well, first you got to find someone that actually wants to meet up with you, because that's the first thing, because, you know, and I remember this back when I was heavy into trying to find somebody online. You know, you talk to somebody. All right, let's go out, and then they have a fucking issue. Oh, you know, and it's basically, you know, they get cold feet and they don't want to go out, and of course, you know, it is very stressful, you know, leaving your house to meet up with a stranger. But, you know, I try my best to be like, you know, let them know I'm not threatening or anything like that. You know, and then sometimes you do have the first date, and then you're like, oh no, this person, me and this person are not going to fucking get along. You know, now that I've seen them in real life, I can see the crazy in their eyes, and that shit ain't gonna. Thank you for your time. Have a nice life. But once again, you know, it's so weird that they have like these weird, you know, tiered payment. You know, for 6 months, you better find me somebody. What else I have here? The State of the Union address, which, yeah. And now, I didn't see it live. I did watch it the next, only because
I watched parts of it. I couldn't stand it, honestly.
Yeah, and you know, it is when I'm working, I can, you know, one of the beauties of, you know, my job is that, you know, I can have the TV on, and I can watch, you know, and like, you know, I'll do where I stream from YouTube. I have a Chromecast, so like you can watch YouTube videos on the site. And of course, like, you know, of course the next day, you know, a bunch of sites had it, but you know, I'm looking for like the most generic, middle of the road, Like I streamed it off like the C-SPAN YouTube page. Like I'm looking for the most general. I don't want to stream it from Fox, and don't get me wrong, I'm more of a CNN person, but I don't want to stream it off CNN. Give me fucking C-SPAN. Give me the good old C-SPAN is basically a security camera.
That's funny.
So I streamed it off of C-SPAN, and watched it. And let me just say this. And obviously, look, anti-Trump. All the fucking.
Yep.
I would say maybe the first hour of him talking, if it wasn't coming from him, I would agree with. That makes any sense. And once again, like, I know this is going to sound weird, and maybe since you didn't watch it, and let me just say that.
Well, what kind of things were you talking about? Because I did watch most of it.
Like,
but...
I do believe in, well, I mean, he was talking about, like, doing stuff like, supporting the troops and doing things to help the middle class and stuff like that. And of course, I do believe in border security. You know what I'm saying? I do. But that being said, it's coming from him, and he's saying it as lip service. You know what I'm saying? Like,
let's rewind this just a little bit. Border security? Where do we need border security?
Well, no, I mean, I believe, I believe our borders should be patrolled, but
Yeah, but do you think we need a huge fence for it?
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying is that's an incredible waste of money. But that's the whole thing.
That's what he's trying to get though, dude, is he's trying to get this fence, I'm sorry, let me say it the right way. Quote unquote fence with quotations, because that's what he wants, but really all he wants to do is please people. And, it's kind of funny because CNN has made the point, made him look bad several times by sitting there going, we're literally right here on Canada. We're right here on the border of Canada and the United States, and there's no fence.
Yeah.
And by the way, everybody that's been sneaking in has been coming through Canada. And it's like, now they were making the point that literally when you cross over the line, there's a sensor that picks up, and within like 2 seconds, there's Border Patrol on you. Mm-hmm. So, obviously, they got something going on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, my point is that he was saying stuff, but he was saying it to say it. You know what I'm saying? And maybe next time I'll take a little better notes or whatever, but all I'm saying is that, if I was reading the transcripts or if those words were coming out of someone else's mouth, then I'd be like, okay, I believe this person, but it's coming from him. And it's like everything he's saying is bullshit. It's one of those, like if you see two people and one person's always lying all the time. And you can say a fact, the person who tells the truth all the time, the sky is blue. The person who lies all the time, they say the sky is blue. You fucking question it. Like, is this guy really blue? Maybe it's gray out today. It's just when it comes from a person who's constantly lying and constantly manipulating, trying to use people's prejudices to support his agenda, and getting people to blindly follow him with outrageous and stupid shit. He was saying stuff that makes sense, but knowing that it's coming from him, it's a fucking lie. And I'm like, once, that's my whole point, is that, he was saying shit that, and once again, I wish I had taken notes or something, but I'm not saying is that I'm watching it and like, my eyes, I strained my eyeballs from rolling so fucking hard. So that was, so I watched it.
I will give you this. Like, basically, he basically has a new writer somehow. And I don't know how he does it, but he does. So.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they hire people and whoever the writer is saying all the right things, but the person's not going to back it up. And once again, let's use that analogy, someone who lies all the time and someone who always tells the truth. If you have the friend that tells the truth and that friend says, you and me, we're going to go on vacation next month, all right, that's fantastic. If you have the friend that lies all the time, they'll give you the exact same news. Hey, you and me, we're going to go on vacation next month. You're going to fucking sit there and question like, yeah, okay, whatever. Both times you want to go on vacation, but when you hear it coming from the mouth of someone who's always lying and always fucking full of shit, you know, you don't take that good news the same way. You're like, oh, this person's full of shit. They're always full of shit. They have a track record of being full of shit. You know, I guess we're not going to go on vacation next month.
Right.
So I had spent my evening, the evening of the, and now mind you, because that's, you know, it was originally scheduled to be earlier, but we were in the middle of the fucking shutdown. And then magically, the day they arrest, Roger Stone, one of his main advisors, now magically now he caves in. He takes a knee, he bows the knee, he bends the knee, and fucking says, okay, we could have the government back running, you know, and of course he has to throw a little caveat, we're gonna give it 3 weeks and see if it goes through, you know, which is a nice way of him saying, like, you know, I can be a scumbag piece of shit and fucking hold the fucking government for hostage again. But, like the day after, and totally by accident, I wasn't looking this up on purpose, you know, I'm scrolling through Netflix, and there was a documentary that came out in like 2016 called Get Me Roger Stone. And it's a documentary, and of course, you know, it's a left-leaning documentary, but these guys were actually with Roger Stone. Like, these guys, they were following him around, and then the funny thing is, like, when the camera crew's following him around, he's introducing the camera crew to people that he knows. He's introducing the camera crew to his mother when he, you know, like his mother lives with him in his house, and he was basically saying, like, you know, he tells them, you know, this is a camera crew, they're following me, don't trust them. You know, they're liberal media. Like, literally saying that. Don't trust them, they're liberal media. And then there's another part where, you know, the camera crew's following him, where he's going to some sort of meeting with some other, like, super conservative guy, and he's like, you know, these are the guys, and even he says it in front of the cameras. These are guys making a documentary. They're gonna, you know, trying their best to make me look like I'm the bad guy or whatever. But Roger Stone, like, the guy has a fucking tattoo of Richard Nixon on his back. You know, he back in the 80s, first. Now, mind you, he was part of the team that helped get Reagan elected. Now, he was part of that team, and then what he did was, after he helped get Reagan elected, usually people who do stuff like that, they'll go about their business. He started him and Manafort, the other guy that this also has who's, you know, is locked up and has felony charges. They started this company where they build themselves as advisors. And what they were doing was, since they helped get Ronald Reagan elected, they would charge these fucking, like, third world dictators. And they would go to the dictator and go, you know what? You know, I'm friends with Ronald Reagan. I helped him get his fucking position of power. If you give me $40 million, I'll let you talk to Ronald Reagan. Now, mind you, they're putting that in the books as their advisors. You know what I'm saying? An advisor is a very fucking broad term. Anybody can be an advisor on anything. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I could do this podcast and say I'm a jerking off fucking advisor. I'm a masturbation advisor. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, you could call yourself that title, and he's doing what's basically fucking illegal and charging third world dictators who generally, you know, like through the UN and everything, would never ever get a fucking audience with Ronald Reagan. But they're like, hey, you know, if you give me $40 million, you know, I can arrange a meeting with you and Ronald Reagan. Now, mind you, that being said, you know, and a dictator, you know, if a dictator, sure, I don't mind, I can get $40 million, you know, sure, fuck my people, you know what I'm saying? Let my people starve, you know, I'm gonna fucking, you know, I've, you know, what they call those, the Cougarans, the old, like, German coins and gold, which came from, like, the fucking Jews that they killed, you know what I'm saying? You know, these guys are laundering money and all this shit, you know, with the Cougarans, and, you know, sure, I got $40 million, you know, give me 20 minutes, you know, and so, you know, he helped third world fucking genocidal dictators get an audience with Ronald Reagan, and then, you know, and Ronald Reagan doesn't want to bite the fucking hand that feeds, because Roger Stone was the kind of guy that helped get him elected. You know, he was the one, and it's funny, you know, we all talk about Donald Trump. He was pushing for Donald Trump to run for fucking office in the 80s. He wanted Donald Trump to fucking take over after fucking Reagan. And Donald Trump was always kind of dragging his feet. I don't want to do it. quite frankly, it's sort of like Roger Stone is kind of the reason we even got like the Apprentice TV show, because he wanted to get Donald Trump in the public eye. And of course, and then that feeds right into Donald Trump's ego. Like, he's playing Donald Trump like a fucking puppet, to get Donald Trump, elected, because what did he do with Ronald Reagan? He got third world leaders to pay him $40 million to meet Ronald Reagan, and, Vladimir Putin, Kim Jong-un. I think he was trying to position himself in a way where, he could get Donald Trump to go meet. Because when it comes to like the whole seeing the birth certificate thing, he put that thought in Donald Trump's head. He was the one that said, I want to put Trump in office, so I need him to like discredit the president, Obama, by asking about the birth certificate. And he was grooming Donald Trump to be a fucking presidential candidate. And so he kind of said,
and it worked.
Yeah. It's saying like, he should, a lot of people in this country don't like a black president. You should push the issue about where's his birth certificate, because people are not going to believe, this guy's a fucking puppet master, and don't be wrong, Donald Trump is complicit. It's not like Donald Trump is some fucking guy with his thumb up his ass,
Oh no, he's not.
But Donald Trump is very egotistical, and Roger Stone manipulated him and played him and got the, and got the man in office, and he wanted to bring back his old, unfortunately, Donald Trump has so many shady fucking dealings that we're looking into all the shit that if we weren't looking, Roger Stone would still be doing the same shady shit he was doing with Ronald Reagan. So, it was a great fucking documentary. It's called Get Me Roger Stone. And now mind you, now they're talking about the guy, and this is something he did in the 80s also. I forgot the guy. I forgot there was a conservative Republican, and it's killing me because I forgot his name. They had him run as an independent because they wanted to disrupt the election where, we had an independent in the middle. So it's one of those deals where like people like, they'll not vote for Democrat. They'll just put, and it's killing me because he was a very famous conservative Republican. And he said, I'm going to run, I'm going to run center. I'm not going to run, Democrat or Republican. I'm going to run independent. And now we have this fucking asshole, the guy who runs the Starbucks, and he's doing the same thing because for all intents and purposes, he's a Republican. He's been a Republican, but now he's saying, I want to run independent because he wants to be there to take votes away from the Democrats. You know what I'm saying? Because when a person runs independent, they can say anything they want. Oh, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to help everybody, and I'm going to do whatever the fuck, And then, unfortunately, there are Democrats, there are people who would generally vote Democrat, who go, well, he's saying everything I want to hear, and I'm going to vote for him, and not vote with their party, so, what really looks like it was supposed to be 1-on-1. If you take that one and split it, now it's 2 against 1, but that one, the house divided can't stand. And so that's exactly what this asshole's doing, the guy who runs Starbucks. He's there just to disrupt, he's there to disrupt obviously there's going to be a giant backlash against Donald Trump in the next election. But if we can get an independent to promise Democrats, people who would generally vote Democrat, promise them the world, then maybe we could get them to, because the conservatives and the Republicans are going to vote for Trump. These people, they love Trump, and unless you were a federal worker, if you're a federal worker and you're a Republican and you vote for Trump, you're a fucking idiot. The guy literally fucking kept money from coming to your house for an entire month. But like that's it's sad that fucking history is repeating itself, and I guarantee you, if you follow the fucking strings, you'll see that Roger Stone's been pushing this agenda from behind the scenes, and that's my whole that's my whole bit on Roger Stone. So did you want to talk about this anime controversy going on?
Yeah,
it's not. I mean, this is more just regular news, not nerdy news. But all right, let me preface this by saying that earlier this year, and this was something that was announced a couple months ago. Dragon Ball Z, and of the animes that are out there, Dragon Ball Z is, the most popular. I mean, I can't think of any other anime that's more popular than Dragon Ball Z. They had released a movie earlier this year, in New York City alone, I mean, like they had the screening in Madison Square Garden. Am I
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
They had a premiere in LA, of a big fucking premiere. And this movie for anime movies and that broke all types of records. It was Dragon Ball Z, the Broly saga. Am I saying that correctly? Broly?
No, it's Dragon Ball Super Broly is what it's called.
Dragon Ball Super Broly. Yeah, forgive me. And I interview the people who fucking do the voices in this shit. and it's funny that, and it's weird that I could interview, Chris Sabat and
Chris Sabat.
Chris Sabat. Who's the guy that's always with Sabat?
Sean Schemmel.
Sean Schemmel. I've interviewed Monica Rial. I've interviewed Ian Scott, Ian Sinclair. I've interviewed people, and it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility that I could have interviewed this man that we're just about to talk about. But it's funny that I've interviewed people that are like top of the fucking mountain, and I don't even. I don't know or care who they are. And don't get me wrong, I appreciate their stance in the anime community. I interviewed, last Comic-Con I had the girl from Legend of Korra. I mean, she was doing a different show. She was doing, Stan versus Evil thing. But I interviewed, it's funny, everyone else at the table wanted to interview her about anime stuff. And I'm talking to her about Stan against Evil. But yeah, so the gentleman we're talking about, and I say gentleman, Vic Mignogna?
You cannot pronounce names,
Mignogna. I think I have that here in my notes. I could be.
It's Vic Mignogna.
Mignogna.
Yes.
Hey, you fucking
Mignogna.
Yeah, a very, very Italian name, but he's an anime and is the voice of Broly. So here we are, Dragon Ball Super, the biggest movie, the biggest accomplishment. And especially in recent times, because and here we are, celebrating. We should be on the top of the mountain, dancing and shaking our hands and cheering. And then I'll let you fill in on what happened after that.
So basically, Vic is known for being. So let me just say it this way, because he's not some kind of rapist. He doesn't assault people, but sometimes he's a little. Handsy. And it's not like he's like going around raping girls or assaulting girls or anything like that. I want to make sure that that's understood. Like, that's not happening. What's happening is he's just going a little too far and people don't like it. So that came up as part of all this. And, basically people were like, there's the people that are like, don't go after Vic. Vic is innocent. We love Vic, blah, blah, blah. And then you got the other people, which started out to be a smaller segment, which was believe the victims and whatever else. My stance always on this is pretty simple. And it's the same thing, I think, the way that you can say it for yourself if you want. But pretty much, I think we're kind of on the same page here. Basically, I don't want to commit to blaming somebody until I know all the details. And I know that I know for a fact, because I've met Vic Mignogna in person. He's a nice guy. I don't think that he means anything ill will. I don't think that he's like trying to go out and hurt people.
Yeah. I mean, he's Italian. Italians are very passionate people.
Well, and then that's the thing. Like, I think people don't get the fact that this guy, like, that's how Italians do. Italians do that. Whether or not it's right or wrong, it is what it is. Italians can sometimes be a little too much, and you got to kind of just say, hey, look, you can't be doing this kind of thing.
Yeah.
So basically what happened was it came out that he, Monica, who we know
Monica
very
Rial,
well,
who's been we've interviewed in the past, or I've interviewed. You've interviewed her, right?
We've both done it. Done it, so, I mean, and we both know who she is. Chris even says, it's, this woman wouldn't really just go and be like, well, I'm going to say something and then be like, oh, it's not true. No, that's not what happened.
Yeah, because there is, I mean, and not to cut you off, I mean, there is that, I don't like that blanket statement of, believe the victim or believe the accusers or anything like that. Because that makes everything way too black and white. And don't get me wrong, and women come out and look, guys have been fucking large, gigantic pieces of shit and piles of garbage.
Oh, absolutely.
For decades and generations and thousands of years, hundreds of years, since the dawn of man up until like 20 years ago, men were horrible fucking human beings. That being said, in this particular case, interviewing Monica, and like, obviously as soon as, right after the interview, it's funny, you meet these people, and since I'm not a fan, since I'm not meeting these people as a fan, just meeting them as human beings, Monica was one of the easiest interviews I ever did, one of the nicest people that I've met doing interviews, and instantly right after that, I started following her on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? So it's weird that, like, I'm a fan.
That tells you right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm a fan of the person. She's a decent fucking person. And of course she's good at her job and everything like that. But, in this particular situation, and once again, I'm not saying to believe the victims, I'm not putting that blanket statement. And in this specific laser accurate situation, if she says something went wrong, if she said that he touched her inappropriately or how, I don't know exactly, I don't remember the exact accusation, but it's in that same vein of the world that we live in and Me Too and everything like that. I believe her.
I believe her too.
I don't think she has any reason to lie. She doesn't seem to be a liar. She gains nothing from it. You could, someone, in a different day and age, had this been 20 years ago, someone could have easily said, you know what, shut up, don't rock the boat. That's what happens when you walk into a fucking, that's what happens when you walk into an environment full of guys. You just have to fucking shut up and deal with it. If in a different time, people would have said, yeah, whatever. Or, hey, be happy he grabbed you. You should be complimented. What I'm saying? There are guys and there is still that kind of old
is
school.
True. Like, I don't want to admit to that, but that is true. Like, people would do that from time to time.
Yeah, there's that old school mentality that, like, and of course, we're still trying to evolve as human, and that's not the right mentality to be in. Like, just deal with it. Be a team player and shut up and, be, so what, he grabbed you, don't be so fucking, don't be so full of yourself or whatever. But,
right.
Unfortunately in this day and age, you really have to watch what you do and watch what you say and be careful and understand, people are fucking touchy-feely. We live in a world that's a behavior that has to change. You can't be touchy-feely with everything, and of course, it's not like, obviously we can't, go the opposite route and be fucking robots. If someone wants a hug, give them a hug. If someone, if you see someone crying or whatever and you feel giving them a hug is probably the best possible course to go right ahead and give them a hug. If it comes from the heart. And once again, from everything that I've read so far in this situation, because you brought it up and I started trying to do my little online research, this is a guy who just happens to be touchy-feely, not in a well, I don't want to say not in a creepy way, because the accusations that are flying is that, he seems to like the younger girls, that he while he's giving autographs to the girls, he's also like, taking a piece of paper and written his fucking, his direct personal cell phone number on. And,
did he do that on somebody?
Yeah, I think he did it to a couple of people. Where and he'll say, he'll hug a fan and say, by the way, I'm staying in room, I'm staying in the room, room 315 in the Sheridan. Now, that being said, is it creepy? Yes. But it's sort of like, and trust me, I'm not defending the situation. And once again, you have to take every situation, separately, but you go to a convention and don't get me wrong, I guarantee you that in this situation, there were more fangirls there that were more than happy, to get a nice tight squeezed hug from Vic Mignogna. I'm pretty sure. And unfortunately, that does, and once again, it doesn't excuse behavior, but I can see how it kind of warps your perception on how you interact with people. Because if once again, these voice actors, these fangirls, and in this situation, because I mean, look, there is a double standard, but fangirls can get away with a lot more shit than if a guy went and if a male fan grabbed Monica Rial's butt, he'd be admonished. If a fangirl grabbed Vic Mignogna's butt, it would be considered cute and cheeky and let's laugh it off. And,
I mean, I see where you're going with
so
this.
My point is that he's probably, you spend all day with fucking, super horned up fangirls. I mean, obviously, yeah, he has to deal with the male fans also. But I'm saying is, where you want a hug? Yeah, give me a hug. And then you give everybody a hug, then you get you get that one person that maybe doesn't want the fucking hug. And once again, and it's hard to, you have to snap yourself out of that mentality, or, he has to snap himself out of the mentality where not everybody wants a fucking hug, dude. Some people want an autograph. Some people, as a fan, and I can say this, there's a certain, when you go to someone whose work you admire, and you're like, I just want to tell you that I love everything you do, and Dragon Ball Z has been around long enough where people that have, a girl that watched Dragon Ball Z 20 years ago, who's 8, who is now 28 and sexy, she's like, she's like, she kind of grew up and, of course girls have their feelings, especially for guys they admire, but, he's on a very, he has to walk on glass. He's walking on thin ice. It's a dangerous slope to go down. And unfortunately, I think he slipped and busted his ass. So
I think what happened here was he was, and I don't know what the story of Monica is. So I saw another voice actress poist. God, I'm turning into Chris. Post something that tells me maybe that's what happened to Monica. But apparently whenever he was recording something, there was another female either in the booth or in that whole thing, because there's the booth and then there's the recording section where in the mixer and everything. And I'm guessing what happened is he was doing something inappropriate and, just didn't stop doing it. And, he shouldn't be doing that to Monica. He shouldn't be doing that to any voice actress or anything. If they tell you not to touch them, don't touch them. I don't know what it was. I don't care. You shouldn't be touching these women. I do see, here's where I am. I get where some of the fans of Vic are kind of pissed.
Yeah, there's a unfortunate a backlash.
Oh yeah, I jumped onto Twitter on Thursday night. I'm like, let me go up and see what's going on Twitter. Every single other post was about Vic, and I'm just like, oh my fucking God, what the hell? And then I noticed
do you still have that tweet that you read me before the episode, or?
Oh yeah, I can pull that up here in a minute. Basically, I'll spitball it because I don't have my phone. It's actually charging. Yeah. But basically what it said is Vic had put up a tweet about a couple hours ago that said, to all my fans, stop hating on everybody. I don't condone that shit. To stop. Basically is what he said. He didn't say it in that manner, but that's basically what it says.
Don't harass her.
And I think that's a good step for him to do, and I think that needs to happen, from him especially. Getting back to what I was saying. So I get where the fans of Vic are saying, well, we don't believe anybody, we don't believe whatever, we don't even believe Monica Rial. First of all, let me just address this. If Monica Rial says it, it happened. That's kind of what changed my mind, because I kind of, when this first started happening, I'm like, guys, stop. We always jump on celebrities. We always go after celebrities first, and we don't research what's going on. This is what happens to these people. And then their careers get ruined. Their families who are innocent in the whole situation, no matter if this person did it or not, gets hurt. And even if they are able to disprove themselves because of the damage, you're still going to be damaged in some way because of it. So I really am so glad, Chris, that I'm not a famous person. Mm-hmm. I don't want to ever be a famous person, just because it's so much. No wonder these celebrities go out and shoot themselves. I'm not saying Vic is a huge celebrity, but he's a voice actor. So in that world,
and the world of anime, he's fucking, he's almost top of the mountain,
So one point that was brought up the other night, which I agree with, is he hasn't really been doing any major voice acting roles. Now, the article I shared with you about Rooster Teeth fired him from one of the series that they're doing. I think it's Ruby. He was
Ruby,
actually
red, right, blue, yellow.
He had a role that he was coming in and out of. He wasn't like a regular on that show. But the point being is Vic had not had many voice actor roles except for now Broly. And I think what got me thinking, especially tonight, was maybe the reason he doesn't have so many roles is because of all of this. And it's been said in the business, and they've kind of just eased him out and stopped him from doing so many of these roles. Obviously, Full Metal Alchemist is his bread and butter, you know. That's come and gone, so that's, you know, I mean, yeah, it's still out there, but it's come and gone. It's had its run. He's not famous for that. Now we got Broly, obviously, so that's why everybody's going on about him. But I think what needs to be said here, irregardless of what he has done and what he hasn't done, because I think that the people that are accusing him of, I've seen somebody say that they got raped by him or assaulted or something to the severe degree. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not sure if I'm going to go that far, but I do feel like he's touched people inappropriately. Monica obviously said that. So my thing is in any situation like this, whether it be this or like what happened with the weatherman or whatever, you got to allow people to change or fix their mistakes. Mm-hmm. Okay. Obviously Vic has not been severely put into the chair and said, you need to fix this or you're done completely. Now he's being put in the chair and saying, you need to fix this or you're never going to be at a con again. Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, I think pretty much almost every single con that he was supposed to go to this year has canceled on him.
Yeah. Well, I think, let me, from when I write my research on that, I think he saw the wave coming and he backed out. He got, I think, like, let's just, I don't know the exact numbers, but let's just say he had like 6 of them booked. After the first 2, he called the other 4 and said, you know, let me just back out.
He said, I think Kame-Con or Kamea-Con, they actually dumped him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is he got dumped by a couple, and then he just said, let me stand in front of this wave, you know, let me bite the bullet or, you know, preemptive strike or whatever. And he backed out of the rest knowing that, you know, look, before you call me, let me call you, save you the trouble, you know, I won't be there.
So, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that basically what I'm trying to say here is by him doing, for example, tonight saying, hey, my fans, stop doing this. I don't want this. I'm not condoning this. Don't do it. That's a good first step as well. Mm-hmm. Now, him apologizing as well, I think is a very good step. We have to give these people props when they do something. Because here's the thing. You can attack any voice actor or actress or just an actor or an actress for doing something wrong, even if it's severely wrong. But if they don't learn from it and they don't get help, then pretty much what was the point? You know what I mean? They're just going to do it again. So what I'm saying here is I want to see Vic get help. I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he just, you know, and maybe let me approach that in a different way. I don't think he's a bad guy towards most of the fans. I don't think that he really meant any ill will with some of the things. Like there's a video out there where he jumped on somebody's shoulders and. Yeah,
I swear that was the next thing I was going to bring up. It was another actor, and then he kind of like, he was, I don't know if he got on a table or maybe he was standing like on a stage and then the guy was standing in front of the stage. But yeah, he jumped on a guy's shoulders as sort of a, you know, I mean, and look, let me tell you, and it was at a con or it was at some sort of meet. It was a fan event. It wasn't like, you know, this is behind the scenes in a,
right.
in a recording studio. This Comic-Cons and stuff like that. Look, you're in a room full of adoring fans. Things get a little crazy. Things get a little wild. You know, there's a very good energy in the room. And right. Unfortunately, he did something that is kind of stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like to put yourself on someone's shoulder. And the guy, now, you know, had this been any other situation, you know, a guy jumps on another guy's shoulder, the other guy would have fucking dropped him like a bad habit. Like, what the fuck are you doing? But, you know, I think, the guy that he jumped on his shoulders, who now says, I didn't want it to happen, you know, it's one of those deals where, okay, yeah, this guy's being an asshole, he jumped on my shoulders, you know, just fucking play along. I'm not gonna slap this guy in a room full of people. I'm not gonna throw him on the ground. Let's, you know, it's all in good fun. Ha 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 ha. You know, and of course, and this is something I said before the podcast, and I'm sorry not to cut you off, but, you know, look, there is no fucking reason for you to touch anybody.
Right.
And maybe that's just me. It's the New Yorker in me. You know, I've been on crowded subways. I've been, you know, I'm used to being elbow to elbow to people. Like, if you need to pass somebody, you say, excuse me. You could even use your elbow to kind of, maybe you want to nudge yourself through, use your shoulder to kind of push yourself through. I hate people who, when they walk by you, they put their hand on your shoulder, they put their hand on your back. And mind you, that's on me, and I'm a big fat guy. There's women who this shit happens to all the time also, where someone wants to get by, and they put their hand on the small of their back, or they put their hand on their shoulders, and they're like, motherfucker, don't touch me. There's never a reason. Now, once I say never a reason, as in between two casual people, strangers in a room who don't know each other, and this is their only interaction, there's no reason for you to ever put your hands on anybody. You know,
I agree.
If someone gets in your face and they make a threat or something like that, and, you know, you like if you're hostile with another person and they make a threat that they're going to hurt you, then by all means push that person into the fucking ground. But, you know, and once again, and like in this situation with the getting on the guy's shoulders, you're in a room and you're with fans and things get a little. That's a dick fucking move. And once again, I don't think there's intent. It's not like, oh, you know, I'm going to be.
No, I don't think he was.
I'm going to be the alpha male and sit on top of this guy's shoulders or anything like that. But, you know, it's like you have to, you know, it's a dick move, not necessarily with bad intention, but it's like, dude, you know, you can't do that. And especially, you know, in a situation in this world where you're sitting on a guy's shoulders, like your dick is on the back of the guy's neck. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I wasn't going to go there.
That's fucking creepy. Don't put your crotch anywhere near me.
So I guess what I was trying to say is when it comes to the fans, like, I don't think that when he was doing any of the stuff that he was trying to do, I don't think that he meant any, like, ill intention with it. I don't think it was meant as anything, whatever. I do know that he's treated staff of some of these cons, or almost all of them that he's gone to, like he's been a dick to them. I've heard that before. Oh, wow. And I would say to them, like, for Vic, like, number one, you need to change that as well, because I've heard that more than I've heard any of these allegations. He treats these con staff like they're pieces of shit. He was doing it at RockCon too, I remember, because, he was just being really stupid to one of them, and I'm just like, what the fuck just happened? Jesus Christ. So first and foremost, he needs to change that as well. Number two, obviously the touching, he needs to stop doing that. Just sign autographs, dude. Let people, you know, do a panel, and that's it. Don't hug anybody. Don't do anything. Just don't put yourself in that position.
I've seen enough celebrities where if someone wants a hug, they'll ask you.
Yeah.
Can I get a hug? And hey, if they're asking you for a hug, go right in. I mean, not go right in. That sounds wrong. Honor the person's request and give them a hug. Yeah.
So, but here's I think the biggest problem is something more is going on here. The how do I say this? So, like, I don't want to say that he. You know what? I guess I'm going to have to say this. It seems like he's assaulted at least one, maybe more, other voice actresses. And I don't know if that's been recently. I would have to favor a guess that it's not recently. But it's happened in the past, at least. And I believe Monica said that she has addressed this before. But she's addressing it again because people are attacking people. I think that Vic needs to understand that if he hasn't already changed, he needs to change that as well. And that's the most important thing. You need to treat people right, and you need to stop touching people to the degree of where they feel violated.
Yes.
Seriously, this needs to stop. Now, I hope he didn't rape anybody, and I hope he didn't assault somebody to the point of where he should be in jail right now. And I hope everybody listening to this understands this. Like, I don't condone anything of what is being accused of Vic. I just want to take the perspective of we need to make sure that these people, and I include, Vic is an example of the whole thing, whether it be the weatherman says Coon instead of Martin Luther King Jr., he says Martin Luther, what was it, Coon King Park?
He just said Martin Luther Coon, which is...
Oh. No, he said... No, he corrected himself because he said
Well,
Martin
he said
Luther...
Coon, and then he realized he said the wrong fucking thing, and then tried to correct himself.
Right.
That was, it wasn't like, no one says Coon King. He said Coon, and then his fucking life flashed before his eyes, and he said, right. King.
Well, and we already talked about that. We already went into detail, but what I'm saying to you is we kind of have to take a step back in these kinds of situations and let things, and do the research, If the person did something wrong, then yes, obviously they should be in trouble. They need to get help, and we need to make sure that they do get help. Yeah. The one thing I think that Vic should do, he's taken a couple steps that I think are appropriate, but I think he also needs to say to the public, listen, I just want to let you guys know, I'm going to go get some help. Clearly, I'm doing something wrong here, and I need to figure out what that is and correct it. If he were to do that, I think that would be a great stride in the community, and I think he could actually become a leader in the community. If he says all the things that he's saying, he can actually benefit from this, but also give a benefit as well. Show an example of what somebody should do in this situation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because obviously, you watch anime. There are adults that watch anime, but anime is also still a young person's medium. You know what I'm saying? Teens, early 20s. There's young people who can learn from this, who can, if they're, and trust me, when I was doing the research, the people that are defending Vic, they're people that are defending Vic, like, the same way people defend fucking Donald Trump,
they're doing the circle method, circle method, where they just keep circling around, but Vic didn't do it. But Vic didn't do it. But yeah. Vic didn't do it. No, you're not understanding. There is a person that is literally saying to you, a voice actress that is literally saying to you right now, he touched me inappropriately, and it was worse than what some people are saying. And you need to understand that, and you need to take that as a truth, because it is true.
Yeah. So
stop fucking around and just understand that this is a serious situation. What you should be doing is saying, how can I help? How can I help?
Let's fix this. Be a leader, be an example. If you fucked up, say I fucked up. I know it sounds like kind of corny, like, oh, I'm gonna go to fucking rehab or whatever, and sex rehab and sex addiction or whatever. But I mean, if that's what you feel needs to get done, then. Well,
I think he needs to go to a psychologist and tell them what's going on, and then go from there.
Because he's a role model. There's guys who look up to him, and these guys are so blindly devoted to him that they don't see that these fans don't understand where there's smoke, there's fire.
And one other thing that we need to say before we do go to a commercial here. Mm-hmm. Those fucks out there that are making shit up, because I've seen some of them. I saw some of them yesterday on Twitter and saw some of the examples of the bullshit that some people are making up. You're part of the problem too.
Yeah.
You can't be making shit up. Okay? That's part of the problem also with all this bullshit. Okay? If obviously Vic did something to Monica. We know that. Let's just move on from that. Do not blame Vic Mignogna for something that did not happen, because if you do, there's going to be some pissed off people, and they will find you, trust me.
Yeah.
And they will make your life a living fucking hell.
Yeah, that's the fucked up part of the internet. People who make up shit. Yeah. And then the people who spread shit, like the people who spread shit that they don't take 2 seconds to double check.
I mean, and listen, my website could right now literally go and put an article out about Vic and everything that's happening with Vic. And I probably would get a shitload of views. Mm-hmm. Did I do that? No. There's a reason. Because this is the kind of shit that needs to be handled in an appropriate way. By adding to the fire, that's not going to help people. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So what I would basically, just to wrap this all up, so to speak, we need to let Vic become a better person. And just like I said on Twitter, let him become a better person. And if he doesn't, or he does do stuff and then goes back to his ways, then you need to go after him again, because we do need to hold people accountable for their actions. If he does not do what he's supposed to do to make himself better, then yes, he should be held accountable. But let the man try to do that. And I'm hoping he will, and I'm hoping that Vic will learn from this lesson and do that. And knowing Monica, I think that she would agree. As long as he went and got help, I think she would be supportive of that.
Yeah.
I don't know that. I don't know the situation. I don't know what happened. But knowing who she is and the kind woman that she is, I could see her saying to me, if I asked her about this in private, she probably would say to me legitimately, like, I would support him going to get help, because clearly there's something wrong there.
And the whole thing is that, let's just say we live in a world where he gets work after this, let's just say, or, and let's just say he does the whole thing, he's gonna be under a microscope, he's gonna be working with other voice actors and producers and directors and all those other people. The minute he walks into a recording studio, everyone's gonna be watching his actions. So, it would behoove him, to suppress any urge that he had to put your arms around anybody. He's going to be watched to just, go work, make your fucking money and go home. If you
honestly,
go on.
I'm sorry. Like, honestly, I think that Chris, he's kind of already been paying the price for this. I mean, yes, I think when Broly came out, it pissed off a lot of people that thought that Vic shouldn't be getting any big roles. And I think that was the catalyst that finally brought this out into the open as big as it's been. It's been there before, but it's never been this big.
Oh, okay. This is what pushed it into the
At least that's
spotlight.
my opinion. It's always been there, but it's not been, like, especially, it was more for me. The one thing that I heard more than these kind of allegations was him treating Khan staff terribly. So that right there was kind of the thing that I heard all the time. So I'm not surprised. What I think though is that he needs to, like I said, he needs to take this experience and say to himself, listen, what do I need to do to change? And just go from there. You know what I mean? And I think he can learn from this, and I think that he can do better, and I think that he can be a good person. But I just need to see something from him. I need to see him do something about this. Good first steps were apologizing for it, not only on Twitter, but at a con in public. And I do think, and we do need to give him credit for that, by the way. People can get pissy with me all they want, but I will always give somebody credit for apologizing. And he did do that. So give him credit for apologizing. Give him also credit for coming out on Twitter against his fans and saying, listen, if you're attacking, I don't condone this shit. Stop it. That was a good
against the asshole fans, not against his fans.
Well, he's saying to his fans, to stop.
Yeah, don't harass anybody.
Don't harass the voice actors and actresses. Don't harass anybody else. You shouldn't be doing that on my part. And I think that was a very good thing for him to do, and he needed to do that. Because a lot of people do respect him, but that's the problem is that we're not getting. We need to let him, he's starting to make these changes. Let's hope that this continues, and let's hope that, like how Monica was saying, like he would cry and ask for forgiveness, and then a few weeks later go back to what he was doing. He needs to, like, finally just do it. That's it. Stop. Take a year. My advice to him is to take 6 months to a year off. Don't do anything. Just let this pass over, and also get help while you're letting this pass over. And then come back and say to the fans, look, I'm going to say this one more time. I apologize if I've ever offended anybody, including any voice actors or actresses out there. I had an issue. I've gone and gotten help for that issue. I'm ready to come back and do stuff, and I would hope that you people would support me. If he does it that way, I think he'll be fine. But I would also suggest to him that if he's going to do con appearances, he needs to also pretty much don't touch anybody. Make it a policy. Look, I'll sign autographs. I'll shake your hand. In some cases, if you really, really want a picture with me, I will do that. Or, you know what? Hey, do what every other fucking voice actor or whatever does. Charge for your photos. I mean, that way you're getting paid to do it, and then fans will pay money for it.
Yeah.
If they're going to pay $100 to take a picture with Mark Hamill, like, come on.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
It was 200. It was like $200 and something for it was like I'm sorry, that was like the deluxe. That was like the Mark Hamill. It was like the autograph and the picture and but one thing, like, not for nothing, it's like, I mean, and don't get me wrong, I mean, it's great for the fans that did want hugs and stuff like that. But generally, like, in my experience with cons, I mean, obviously it's only been like, RockCon and fucking New York Comic Con, but like usually, like, the person's on the other side of the fucking table. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Usually.
Like, usually there's a table. It's, you don't have the convenience of being able to walk around and hug every single fucking fan.
And that's what kills me about this. Like, it's like, how is it that you're not able to do that? Like, I mean, I don't understand why you're coming around from the table and trying to get somebody to, get a hug from somebody. Stay on your side of the table, man. Just do your autographs, shake somebody's hand, and let it move on.
Yeah. So I think with that,
and don't jump on people either. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, definitely don't jump. Like I said, live by my rule. Don't touch anybody ever. There's never a reason to touch anybody. Exactly. And I think with that, and with the audience consent, we'll be back with more dick and fart jokes.
This episode of Two Strangers, One Podcast is brought to you by Comics Etc. 1115 East Main and North Goodman at the Hungerford Building, door number 8. Find out more information at comicsetc.biz or like them on Facebook at facebook.com/comicsetc1.
Did you ever see a film at such a young age it left you traumatized with cinematic wounds? Necrophilia. It's a dead issue, man. Don't push it. Cinema Psyops is a weekly podcast documenting an ongoing experiment on the mind of an unwilling test subject.
No one should have to watch this movie.
Oh, no one should have to watch this?
No one should have to watch this movie.
Surprisingly, it's not a topic that a lot of people really want to tackle.
I'm shocked, prudes.
I know, really.
Right?
It's the next sexual frontier that no one wants to explore.
I am, in the most sincerest of senses, disappointed in you.
It takes a powerful goddess like Connie, jam her arm down the monster's throat and kill it. Oh, I'm still tripping out over that. Even as a kid, I was like, I gotta find a girl like that. Every week, I get a new look of disappointment that I never thought I could get out of her.
Unimaginable. At 12 years old, you should not be watching this movie.
Obviously.
At 13, you should not be. 14, you shouldn't be. I'm not entirely sure even 17-year-olds should be watching this.
Just because you're offended by something doesn't mean that you have the right to demand that it doesn't exist. Watching this film again, I had all of this like little nerd glee with everything that kept
little
popping
history
up.
all popping up
absolutely.
at you.
So I totally loved this film.
Hey, I know why you couldn't see that. It's because your brain's warped from watching this shit at 12 years old.
Yeah, this is a rough movie. I told you ahead of time when we were getting ready to do it that it was going to be a rough
How did you watch
one.
this shit at 12?
Because physical wounds heal, cinematic ones don't. Listen to Cinema Psyops.
And we're back. All right, Paul. So let's. I got a couple more Super Bowl ads I wanted to talk about. And once again, it's not really stuff that's really up our alley, but still stuff I kind of wanted to mention. The Hobbs and Shaw movie, the spin-off of Fast and the Furious, with the Jason Statham and The Rock.
I saw the trailer. It looks really good, actually.
and Idris Elba. And it's like, when these movies can't get any more fucking ridiculous. Now you got Idris Elba's like a fucking superhuman and I mean, and I guess, look, the movies, they seem fun. They're having a good time. You can't be mad at them. You can't be mad for being, I mean, then again, you watch I love Marvel movies. So if I watch a movie with a fucking, talking raccoon and a walking tree, I can't throw stones at the fans of, Fast and the Furious. It looks fun. It's fucking ridiculous, And you got Idris Elba, and he's like a super soldier, and then of course, The Rock and The Rock and Jason Statham were like bald, it's like, it's nice to see movies where the heroes are bald, and even when they were with Vin Diesel, another bald guy, so much props to the bald guys. I mean, it just looks fucking, you gotta love it.
I do.
What was I going to say? The real winner, and it's funny, I'm kind of stealing this from a meme I looked at, but the real winner of the night was was Jordan Peele, because during the Super Bowl they had, there was an ad for his movie Us, which is after Jordan Peele gave us Get Out. It's this movie Us. It's got the guy that played I forgot that, M'Baku, the guy who played M'Baku from Black Panther,
Right.
and Lupita Nyong'o. So it's funny, like two actors from Black Panther. It's like a movie where a family, they go and they run across another family that looks exactly like them, except the other family is fucking a bunch of psychos who
Psycho fucking assholes.
who like climb on walls and climb trees, and they seem to have like superhuman powers, but they're also fucking hell bent on killing the family. Like, it's a really, I'm super intrigued, and I don't want this to get spoiled for me. I'm like, Get Out, even though Get Out was kind of spoiled for me a little bit, like, luckily not all of it was. And I don't want to, like, it looks super fucking interesting. What do you do? What would you do if if you and your wife and kids, came across another identical versions of yourselves who want to kill you? It looks fucking creepy. And after Get Out, I'm such a big fan of Jordan Peele, and so I'm super excited about that. We'll get to the big one at the end. Then, even though not directly related to him, but there was a commercial for Toy Story 4, where him and Keegan-Michael Key, they're doing the voices of two characters that are at like a booth, like a carnival booth, and like where they're the prizes that kids can win at a carnival, but they're the toys, and then Buzz Lightyear somehow ends up in the carnival booth, and like the guy like zip ties him to the which is weird. I've never seen toys like zip tied to the fucking fence, but it gives them a reason. Like, they're introducing these new characters, and of course, and it's Key and Peele, so Disney, Pixar, those checks don't fucking bounce. He's got that movie Us, and then of course I think the one I'm most excited about is fucking Twilight. There was a commercial for the Twilight Zone. It looked like the commercial started out looking like it was like it looked like it was like the Super Bowl coming back from commercial. Like, oh, here we're back with comedy. And then then the screen gets all twitchy and staticky, and then the fucking whole stadium's empty. And then it's, then you see like, 4 different Jordan Peeles sitting in the audience, sitting in the seats and stuff like that. And then he's walking down the field, kind of, doing the whole Rod Serling sort of thing, and I don't know the exact quote, but he's imagine a man and from another dimension, or in a world where light meets dark, and whatever it was cool as shit. That being said, I'm gonna have to fucking illegally stream this, because there's no way I'm fucking I'm not getting CBS All Access. I want to see this show. I at one point I was excited for the Star Trek Discovery, which I saw like the first 2 episodes, and I was like, I really don't care. I honestly think this, and it hurts me to say that, I'm saying, I'm not gonna pay for CBS. As much as I love Jordan Peele and I support him, I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna fucking have to wait till leg overseas sites get it so I can watch it, because I want to see it. I know it's gonna be good, but I'm not that excited that I'm gonna fucking give money to, I hope they learn from this. It's a shame that, such a talented person behind the series is going to hit a wall because CBS wants to say, oh no, we're going to put it in our service. Had you put it on Netflix or put it on TV, just put it on TV, but CBS is sort of weird. Like, they already have all the old, they have all the fucking, cop shows and all that other shit that old people like, they're trying to get the younger male audience with shows like Star Trek Discovery, New Twilight Zone. But I mean, I hate to sound like an asshole. They're not going to get my.
No, I'm on the same page with you. I listen. There's a lot of good shows on the CBS one, but I'm just like, it's the same thing I keep saying. It's what is it? It's that we have way too many services now, and I just get so pissed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
there was that. So I'm when it comes out, I'll just stream it from there. I think, in my opinion, the star of the night Super Bowl ad was the. Did you catch the Bud Light Night one, the one that had the surprise ending?
I don't think I did. No.
And okay, so Bud Light, it felt like it was just last year, but it was probably 2 years ago. They had the Bud Light night where the guys are like dilly dilly, yeah. Those fucking commercials, and I hated those commercials, and I just didn't give a shit about, and I come from, my father drinks Budweiser, not Bud Light. My dad drinks Budweiser. It's not like I don't like Budweiser, but it's just the Bud Light night was just so stupid. And then earlier in the night there was this whole stupid commercial where, the town gets this big giant barrel of high fructose corn syrup, and they're taking this big barrel to other kingdoms, seeing if the fructose corn syrup, they're saying, because other people who drink beer, these other companies use fructose corn syrup, or Bud Light uses real sugar. And it's sort of like, if you're drinking fucking beer, whether it's even Bud Light or not, those people don't, if you're drinking beer, you really don't give a shit if it's sugar or high fructose corn syrup. Okay, so there was a commercial where it was the Bud Light night, and he goes in a joust with, he's jousting against this other person, whatever. He gets knocked off, his horse. I'm sorry, I'm going to fart right now. Okay. Hopefully, if the mic picked that up, I'm good. If not, I don't know. All right, so
it did pick it up. Jesus Christ.
All right, sorry. I have to talk. Holding it would have just hurt me. All right, so
hurted you?
Hurted. That being said, okay, the Bud Light Knight falls off his horse. Then we see a character that looks familiar to me. I'll just say right now, the Mount must take his helmet off, and then a dragon comes and torches the whole fucking stadium. Then you hear the fucking Game of Thrones theme. So Game of Thrones and Bud Light did like a commercial together, where it looked like the old Bud Light commercial, Bud Light Night, and then had fucking dragons with each, for Game of Thrones. So, I think ultimately people are saying it's an ad for Game of Thrones. I mean, obviously with the Bud Light Night, it kind of has, Bud Light, it's a Bud Light commercial also. And, it's two companies that you would never think. And it's funny because, HBO doesn't have to advertise with anybody else. People don't advertise on HBO. It's not like they have to be buddy with another company. But it was smart enough where here we are days later still talking about it, where there was an ad where, they have the Bud Light Night. And hopefully that meant that character is dead. Hopefully the dragon killed it. We'll never have to see that stupid Bud Light Night again. But, that was pretty cool. Let me see. I'm probably going to fart again. All right. Probably not. I guess you didn't hear that one.
Jesus Christ.
There was a couple of commercials there was a commercial for, Stella Artois, the stupid, it's like a beer or whatever. And they got, the guy who played the dude,
the guy that played the dude.
The dude from The Big Lebowski. Lloyd. The guy that I know his father's name is Lloyd, and his brother's Jeff Bridges. Sorry. So they got Jeff Bridges to reprise his role as the dude from The Big Lebowski. They called the character the dude. But in the movie where he drinks White Russians, now they have him drinking Stella Artois beer. And I guess, they must have thrown a lot of money at him to do it. I mean, enough money for a fucking Super Bowl ad. I'm pretty sure they could throw, and it was like him and like, Sarah Jessica Parker, but she was playing her character from Sex and the City, drinking Stella Artois in this bar or whatever, that's like a weird combination, but, and then there were supposed to be these ads for this thing called, Amazon beta test, and it was supposed to be this whole thing with Alexa, and you're supposed to ask Alexa what Amazon beta testing is. I guess they didn't put it through, and I looked it up before we started recording, and there was supposed to be commercials. There was they had a commercial with like Harrison Ford. They had a commercial with the two girls from Broad City, and there was one more commercial with, but it was supposed to be this whole big Amazon Alexa thing called beta testing, and you're supposed to ask Alexa, what is beta testing? And it was supposed to be a big thing, but it didn't come through. And it must have not been ready, because I even Googled it before the episode and I couldn't find it. And you would think looking on Google, I should be able to find something about Alexa. Okay. I have a lot of DC news, but we'll get to that in just a moment. Bill Maher from,
I'm not surprised.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm a DC fanboy, so I love all this news. I love. Bill Maher tried to fucking insult again fans of comic book movies, after, the first comments came right after Stan Lee died. And, and Bill Maher wanted to be an asshole and be edgy and saying, oh, you're a bunch of guys living in your mom's basement and,
hey, that's not funny.
Yeah. And, and he goes, oh, and he says he made fun of the way Kevin Smith dressed. And, Kevin Smith likes to wear hockey jerseys and stuff like that. But recently Kevin Smith had a heart attack earlier last year, and he's lost a lot of weight, and he doesn't dress like that anymore. He doesn't dress in the fucking hockey jersey. He puts on a blazer. I mean, he'll have on kind of like a comic book related t-shirt, but because I saw an article Bill Maher insults Kevin Smith and Kevin Smith changes his wardrobe. No, those are two separate things. Kevin Smith changes wardrobe because he lost weight, and then Bill Maher still attacking Kevin Smith, because and then Kevin Smith put a link to where there was a time where Kevin Smith was on Bill Maher's show, and Kevin Smith made a joke about smacking Bill Maher in the face with his dick. And that's out there. So he feels that maybe Bill Maher was targeting him specifically because he felt, you're going to come on my show and insult me, so I'm going to get you back. But writer Peter David, who, comic book fans, they know I think he's written episodes of Babylon 5, and he's been in comics, he's written a lot of, when you see, when books get into novelization formed, I remember reading his version of, the Hulk, for, the novelization of the movie. And then, recently I had, when, the Dark Tower, the Stephen King books were being adapted for comics, Peter David, they started doing these offshoot books that were sort of related to the Dark Tower, and they're not going to get Stephen King. They got Peter David to do it. So here's a guy who's a well-renowned writer, mostly in comics, but he's done, he's ventured out into other venues. And I got a chance to meet him at Comic-Con. Nice guy. And it's funny, as a guy who writes comics, I was there with my buddy Louie, who dresses up what they call the Zombie Mario guy. And, Louie's face is covered in this, gore and blood and all this other stuff. And Peter David couldn't look at him. It's here's a guy who writes comics, and he felt uneasy looking at a guy in zombie makeup. That was kind of, but that being said, Peter David wrote a letter back to Bill Maher, and I learned something I didn't know about, because Bill Maher is grow up and stop reading comic books, it's all for kids, which, nowadays, there are comics for adults, when fucking, when books like The Watchmen are winning New York Times awards and stuff like that, there are comics that are for adults. And I didn't know this. Bill Maher owns part of the Mets. And you're saying things are childish. What about fucking baseball? Saying,
hey, wait a minute. Don't you be hating on baseball now.
Well, no, I'm just saying is
you can hate on the Mets, but don't hate on baseball.
What I'm saying is baseball is a game. It's a game. Children play games. It's played with a ball. One of our first toys any child ever plays with is a ball. All I'm saying is those who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Kids in fucking Little League, from their earliest, as soon as they could fucking start playing a sport, play baseball, and when kids start reading their first books, sometimes some kids' first books, or first things that they finish, are comic books. So I'm just saying, if you're in a glass house, don't throw stones. If people enjoy it, who are you to shit on them for enjoying something, because you don't like it? So, and Peter...
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that.
Yeah, so Peter David, he wrote a wonderful fucking letter. I would sit here and look it up, but I don't want to waste time. But, so, I just wanted to bring that up. Speaking of Kevin Smith, he had met with he's working on a project. Well, I got a couple things with him, but, long story short, Kevin Smith got to meet with a lot of people who were behind the Justice League. And it turns out that, Zack Snyder really had 3 movies. That movie, the Justice League, was supposed to be a trilogy. It was supposed to be the version of the movie that we got where they fight Steppenwolf. And then at the end of that movie, Steppenwolf was supposed to retreat, go back to his planet. And, for fans of the comics, Steppenwolf is like the nephew of Darkseid. And, you know, for those people who aren't fans of, you know, we'll get more into more DC news later, but Darkseid is like in the DC comics is like the biggest bad guy. You know, he's the Thanos of the DC universe. He's, you know, super powerful. Right. He has like these eye beams that, like, you know, if he shoots his eye beams at you, there's no way you can run and hide. Those eye beams will find you. They'll fucking bend, they defy logic and gravity and physics, and will bend around corners and walls. And, you know, if you want to be in the bottom of the ocean, those lasers will find you. You want to go to the deepest, darkest recesses of space, if he wants to kill you, he can kill you. So then there was going to be, in the second movie, they were going to introduce Darkseid. And actually, the end of the second movie was supposed to end badly, where the Justice League loses. Now, if you remember from Batman v Superman, when Batman has that vision of like an evil future, where like Superman is bad and all the parademons are flying around and stuff like that, where, you know, then the Flash comes back in as a vision or whatever.
Right.
That was supposed to be part 3. So like they were going to end part 2. They were going to do like what this like Star Wars did, where, you know, you end part 2 bad, where like, you know, Justice League is lost. And then part 3 was supposed to be, you know, the one where they save the day and kill Darkseid. You know, Darkseid was supposed to win in part 2 and then lose in part 3. So Zack Snyder actually had this all planned out, and unfortunately, no fucking leadership at DC with the movies. And hopefully things will change. And once again, we'll get to the DC news more in a little bit. But at that particular time when they were making Justice League, there was no solidified vision. Nobody, there's, you know, DC doesn't have their Kevin Feige. They don't have that one person that says, okay, fine. You know, they chickened out, they backed out, and they ended up getting that, you know, the horrible movie we did get, you know, with 2 different directors. You know, the movie was all muddled. I actually like Justice League, but I understand why the fans don't like it. And, but once again, if DC had their version of Kevin Feige where said, no, fuck you, this is going to be 3 movies, and, you know, it's going to have an arc, it's going to be good, it's going to be, you know, then they, and the second movie ends like, you know, all is lost, and they have a third movie where they finally redeem themselves, you know, that would have been awesome. You know, unfortunately, they chickened out, you know, they lost all their faith in the project, and we ended up getting, unfortunately, a butchered fucking Justice League. So, but Kevin Smith, and once again, you know, and he's not a guy to lie about this. Super excited, you know, and so for the fans of the people saying release the Snyder cut, you know, there might be versions of that movie where, you know, I mean, they probably didn't finish the CGI because like Steppenwolf was obviously, but you know, I'm pretty sure they'll probably put out, you know, 20 years from now, they'll put out a version that has like the storyboards and concept art and stuff like that, where how it's going to be, how it's supposed to end, where Steppenwolf disappears, but you see Darkseid. You know, when he goes in the boom tube back to Darkseid's planet, you see Darkseid at the end, and then, you know, we all get excited for Darkseid to be in part 2. So that was pretty cool. Speaking of Kevin Smith, more Kevin Smith news. He's going to be filming Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. That's the name of the movie, Reboot. And it's a movie goofing on reboots, and it's a reboot of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back from 2001. So, they're looking to do a scene where they're going to be at a con in Louisiana, and they want people to go dressed up as cosplayers for Jay and Silent Bob. And then if you remember the movie, they also, in that movie where they fought Mark Hamill as, you know, Cockknocker, the characters in the movie that they were playing was called Blunt Man and Chronic. So they put out like a casting call, and it's going to happen sometime in late March after Mardi Gras in Louisiana, where people are going to go, you know, and be cast and dress like Jay and Silent Bob or Blunt Man and Chronic for the scene. And you don't know how bad. I want to make some arrangements and see if I can get my ass down to Louisiana, and, you know, and see if I could, you know, be an extra in this movie. Because, you know, obviously being a big Kevin Smith fan, you know, I've dressed up like Silent Bob in the past, so, you know, maybe I'll dress up as Blunt Man. I don't know, but I'm excited about that. Okay, I think the one.
By the way, I'm not going to be your Silent Bob. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I mean, I'm Silent Bob. I need you to be
Jay.
Jay.
That's what I meant. I'm sorry. Yeah.
All right. So just as of today, I saw there was a trailer for the new Pet Sematary. Looked good. Has John Lithgow in it. Then also today was the new trailer for the new Child's Play. So I think that literally just came out today. the new Child's Play. It looks good. And it's got Aubrey Plaza from Parks and Rec. She plays the mom. And this kid, and now we live in a day and age where, toys are animated and animatronic, and, a doll could probably walk and talk, or, a doll could, see your face and recognize you and say, hey, Paul, the toys are sophisticated enough where you can, like a Furby. Imagine a Furby that can talk, so, when the toy talks in the beginning, it's not out of the ordinary that a toy can talk, but, then all of a sudden it starts killing people. There's a Netflix series called Russian Doll, which I fucking binged in one night. It has Natasha Lyonne, and the whole fucking series is filmed on the Lower East Side where I grew up. And so it was just great watching a whole show in my old neighborhood. Made me very, very homesick. It's very much like Groundhog Day. It's a girl, it's the night of her birthday. She's at a party and all her friends are doing drugs. And like every time she leaves the party, she goes outside, she dies. And when she dies, she wakes up back at the party, like in front of the mirror or in the bathroom. So I don't want to spoil too much. It's like, I want to say it's either 8 or 10 episodes, but it was pretty good. If that's like your kind of thing. And it wasn't like super sci-fi. It wasn't like they were trying to make it. It's one of those deals. If you like Groundhog Day, but once again, obviously this gets a little more darker and gets a little, there's drug use and sex and everything like that. If you don't mind that, it's a halfway decent series. I'll be surprised if they don't have to do a season 2, but I'm pretty sure if this does well, they'll do a season 2. But it's called Russian Doll, and it's pretty good. All right, so let's get to the DC news. I have a huge fucking chunk here of DC. So we got, and it's weird because I don't have it in my. There's a list of DC movies that are going to be coming out in the next, but they had released concept art for an animated Batman Beyond movie, and so I think they're seriously looking into it. Obviously, if they're releasing concept art and stuff like that, I'm super excited. If we're going to live in a world where we're going to have the extended Batman, we're going to have the extended DC universe for at least a little while. Of course, there's always side projects, and of course, that's one of the other announcements is the Matt Reeves, the Batman movie that Matt Reeves is going to make, and Matt Reeves was the guy who did the new Planet of the Apes movies. Originally, it was going to be Ben Affleck was going to star in it, and then he was going to direct it. Then they said, oh, now he's just going to write it and star in it. And then they said, then he's just going to star in it. Then he's not Batman, then he is Batman, and he's not Batman. Well, I think now they've officially sat back and officially said that he's not going to be in it. Matt Reeves is going to direct it, and it's going to be, it's a standalone movie. It's not connected to any other movies coming out. Kind of like the way that new Joker, the Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie is going to be. What the hell? Sorry, cat just jumped on me. Kind of, that Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie is not connected to anything. It's going to be its own thing. So Matt Reeves, now one of the interesting things he said is that, one of the rumors is that it's going to be a bunch of villains in the Matt Reeves. It's going to be, once again, when I say it's going to be, I'm not saying this is what they said, but, it's going to be a movie with, the Joker and Riddler and Penguin, and, he promises the movie's going to have more than one villain. He says Batman's rogues gallery. So that being said, I have a feeling, if it's done right, you could do a movie, it doesn't have to be him fighting one person, it could be him fighting all his villains and, over the course of the movie, but where everything kind of ties into each other and stuff like that. Anyone who's ever played any of the Arkham games, especially Arkham City and Arkham Origins, in those games, he's not just fighting the Joker. It's the Joker and Two-Face and Riddler and Catwoman. I like that they're not going to stick where it's just the Batman versus the Joker, just Batman. The Chris Nolan movies kind of did that also, where he's fighting, Bane and Talia al Ghul, or, Joker and Two-Face, or the first one was Ra's al Ghul and Scarecrow. But I think, Matt Reeves is like, fuck it, let's not have him fight one, let's fight all his fucking villains. So, it's an interesting concept. And hopefully it'll be executed properly. So we saw the Birds of Prey. There was, they say teaser trailer. It really wasn't a teaser trailer. It was sort of more like here's all the characters that are going to be in the movie. It looked like a screen test. It looked like like we got all the characters in costume. Let's show them, because like they literally are filming it right now, or they started filming it right now. So of course Harley Quinn returns as, Harley Quinn returns from, Suicide Squad. But now she's going to be with the Huntress, Black Canary. There's a character, Cassandra Cain, who I'm not familiar with, and I don't know exactly. It's a younger character. I don't know who that is, and I'm usually more of a DC guy, but I don't know who that is. Then the one that blew my fucking mind, Renee Montoya, played by Rosie Perez, which I'm super fucking excited for. For the fans of the Batman the Animated Series, Montoya was, in that iteration, she was the detective that went out with Bullock. That particular character, she's a lesbian. For deeper fans of the comics, she eventually becomes the character called The Question, the guy that has no face. And it's sort of this weird putty that you put over your face and whatever, so so you can fight crime, but no one knows what your face looks like. I mean, don't get me wrong, Rosie Perez is a little old. I would have been a little bit more excited about this 20 years ago if you told me she was playing Montoya. But I'm excited she's playing Montoya. But I mean, give Rosie Perez her own fucking movie. Let her play The Question, or you could kind of mix it. You could have Rosie Perez. You could kind of flip the script and have Rosie Perez. And then have a Question movie. Maybe she plays The Question for a little while, then have another, have I forgot the name of the character that becomes The Question, and then once again, we got this, in this movie, we got Black Canary, that can branch off into being a Green Arrow movie. Black Canary is married to Green Arrow. I mean, not in this movie, probably before she even meets him or whatever, but,
True.
These movies can branch out into something else. We could have a Question movie. We can have a Green Arrow movie. Then we have Ewan McGregor as Black Mask. Unfortunately, in the screen test or whatever teaser trailer we had, he hasn't gotten the Black Mask yet. He's a gangster who wears a mask that gets fused to his face. I mean, I think there's different origins, but all the ones, I think in the new comics he could take the mask off, but generally Black Mask is a guy, he puts the mask on, and he gets like struck by lightning or something, and the mask gets like welded to his face. And, ironically, his family's in this iron business. It's like a steel mask, and the character's name is Roman Sionis. So we see Ewan McGregor as Roman Sionis. He's not Black Mask yet, but and it's like, and don't get me wrong, I want him in the mask, but he's a celebrity. You can't cover the moneymaker. You're going to see, we have to see his face, and it's good to see Ewan McGregor back in a movie that I actually give a shit about. So that's sort of, that's got me excited. And then, they're introducing Mr. Zsasz, and, for those
do you have a Doom boner? Doom boner? Get it? Doom boner? Because it's Marvel? Never mind.
Well, no, this is DC, man. I'm talking about the Birds of Prey movie.
Batman boner? I don't know. Whatever.
Then you got Mr. Zsasz, which is weird because like all these characters. I mean, Black Mask is the bad guy. Renee Montoya is mostly a good guy. Black Canary is a good guy. Huntress kind of goes back and forth between being good and bad, but she's generally good. Harley Quinn, once again, is bad, but kind of plays, she plays on a good time. Then they got Mr. Zsasz in the movie. Now, Zsasz is a fucking murderer. He's a guy who kills people, and then when he kills people, he cuts a mark in his body. And now, when we see the teaser trailer, he doesn't have any scars on him. But then again, he is wearing like a jacket, but like in the movie, in the games, and then even in the show Gotham, he's generally bald-headed. And even though he's bald-headed, he has scars all over his body. It's like every time he kills somebody, he puts a scar on his body. And, hopefully fans will understand he's not stealing that from Killmonger, from, Black Panther. That's something that, he's been doing for years. I mean, maybe he'll start killing people in this movie and he'll start putting but the other iterations I've seen of Mr. Zsasz, by the time we meet him, he's already the guy looks like all scars, from head to toe. Meaning that he's killed hundreds of people. So at least they've started filming that. So, obviously we'll be seeing that in the Birds of Prey 2020 next year. We got Shazam coming out later on this year. We spoke enough about that. We got the new Joker movie, the one I just mentioned, coming out this year. I'm not that excited about it, but hey, we don't need a Joker origin movie, but all right, c'est la vie. Oddly enough, now in my notes, what I have, they said they announced the Cyborg movie in 2020. I have no evidence to back that up. And also, I mean, there was supposed to be a Cyborg movie. I mean, way before Justice League, came out, there was supposed to be a Cyborg movie in 2020. But I think before that, we were supposed to get a Flash movie, and that movie's it's changed directors, 2 or 3 times already. But I don't know if we're gonna get a Cyborg and Flash movie, as in of the extended universe from the characters from Justice, Wonder Woman, and once again we knew that one was coming. Oddly enough, it says 2020. I thought it was this year, but in my notes it says 2020. Wonder Woman 1984, meaning it's going to be, she's it's not, the first movie was 1912 or something. This is 1984. So we're seeing Wonder Woman, but in the past. Obviously, she survives because she's in Justice. They've announced once again, this is sort of like a Cyborg and Flash. There was supposed to be a Green Lantern Corps movie coming out in 2020, but they haven't announced any actors or anything like that. Maybe they would like it to come out then. You got The Batman, which is the Matt Reeves one. In my notes, that has that as 2021. I hope it comes sooner than that. And then, of course, there's the Suicide Squad 2, which now has been attached to James Gunn, who will direct it. I think he might write it also. It would make sense. Why would you have someone like that and not have him write and direct? I mean, he wrote and direct, Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2. And speaking of Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2, they basically, a lot of people have been going to Taika Waititi, who directed Thor Ragnarok, and he said he's not going to do Guardians of the Galaxy 3. He's, from my sources, it said, he's not going to do it because it's like walking into someone's house and playing with their toys, and he doesn't want to do it. And don't get me wrong, it's all honorable. I also think that he's going to be a little busy because Taika Waititi, they're bringing his show. Well, he did a movie called What We Do in Shadows with the guys from Flight of the Conchords, and that's going to be, I want to say, on FX. He's going to be doing a TV show based on one of his properties. Why fuck around and do Guardians of the Galaxy 3 when you're a baby that you have 100% control? Because, one of the deals, when you do a Marvel movie is you have to play nice with all the other movies. You can't do your own thing. That's how they kicked Edgar Wright off of the original Ant-Man, because he didn't want to play nice. So, I get why, Taika Waititi is playing all nice like he's being the gentleman here, but, he's actually, he's doing his own fucking thing. So I think that is everything I have in my notes, and Jesus Christ, we've hit the 2-hour mark. Anything else?
Chris had to get it out, just like everything else.
I have to, man. If I don't do it, I fucking, it's like when I jerk off. I have to get that fucking out of me, or I fucking kill people. Anything you want to add before we wrap this up?
No. You pretty much said everything I wanted to say.
So let's wrap this up.
That's what she said.
Please visit twostrangersonepodcast.net, where you can find all things show related. You can find links to our iTunes page. If you have an iPhone, an iPad, or iPod, you can subscribe to us. On that. If you don't have an iPhone, an iPad, or iPod, you can download us on the Stitcher app. That's STITCHER. That's the Stitcher app for Android devices. Actually, it's for Apple devices also. But that's how I listen to my podcast. I use Stitcher. I use the listen later option. I put it on available offline, so you can download the episodes while you're in your Wi-Fi area, and while you're out and about without killing your data or your battery, you can listen to your podcast. Which is what I usually do. I mean, I don't leave my house anymore, but when I do, I listen to podcasts on my Stitcher app when I'm taking the bus. You can write to us at twostrangersonepodcast@gmail.com. Once again, that's all spelled out, twostrangersonepodcast@gmail.com. While I'm saying that, I'm going to double check our email because I forgot to check the email. But usually, I get the notifications on my phone also, so I don't think I've gotten a podcast.
As far as you know.
Yeah, exactly. I'm checking it right now. We want your money. We need your money. And hopefully we'll be having a Patreon. Now, that's what, like I mentioned at the top of the episode, I have started an eBay page. So you can go on eBay and search for XLNYC. That's, what was that?
Nothing. No.
Oh, sorry, did you say something? XLNYC, and that's sort of like my other name. It's on Twitter and stuff like that. XLNYC is like as in extra large New York City. You look for that, and that's my page. It's an old picture of me. I think when I started this podcast, I was a lot slimmer. and you can, but feel free to, buy things, we want your money, we need your money. And then my plan is we're going to start a Patreon, and it's sort of like, if you want to buy something, you can contribute to the Patreon, and it's sort of like a tiered gift, like if you want to buy something from me that's $5, well, if you support 5 months worth of the podcast, at the 5th month, you'll get it. So you're killing two birds with one stone. You're getting something that you may want, and you're also supporting the podcast. So you're showing what a wonderful fan you are, and also you're supporting what a fan they are, and you're also getting something that will make you happy. Okay. Let me see. We're on Twitter at Stranger Podcast. If you'd like to follow us on Twitter, pretty much just right now it's still just retweets everything we put on the Facebook page. And we're also on YouTube. We go on YouTube, search for Two Strangers One Podcast. Once again, all spelled out. You can find our Stranger Vlogs. I have one that I haven't released yet, but I'm going to soon. I'm so fucking busy with everything else. You can go and search on YouTube. This show in a couple of months will be hitting 7 years for the episodes that you can't get on SoundCloud. And I forgot to mention that we're on SoundCloud. That's our hosting site. You could download directly from them if you like, if that's your deal. If you listen to, rappers on SoundCloud. I've put music also, and that's also under XLNYC if you want to listen to my music on SoundCloud. But you can search for Two Strangers With Podcast, subscribe to us there, download our episodes there. And I think that's it. Oh, so yeah, the episodes that aren't on SoundCloud, because we've been on SoundCloud for about 2 years now, the ones that are not on there, the first 5 years of the show, are all available on YouTube. I can't think of anything else. I acquiesce the floor to you, sir.
All right. So first of all, just keep an eye on the pages, because I may just make Chris do the freaking Patreon tonight. So, basically, you can find me on Twitter at PulpSkrillo. You can email me. It's pulpskrillo@ToonamiFaithful.com. And, of course, if you are in the Toonami Faithful Discord, you can just at PulpSkrillo in there, and I will respond. So those are the ways to do it. I know Oscar knows how to do his thing, so I think we're good.
Yeah, and also on Stitcher. We're on Stitcher, and, of course, Paul's other baby, the Toonami Faithful Podcast, also on Stitcher.
We're on Spotify, too.
And Spotify. All right, so
I'm not telling you how to do that either, so screw you. I might show you later. I don't know.
All right, well, we certainly hope you guys enjoyed listening and had as much fun as we did recording. Thank you for listening to Two Strangers One Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Paul.
Don't be a stranger.
Peace. We're out.
Bye. You should be fapping.
Yes, you should.
All right, here we go, man. Go ahead. You want to read
Double Jackpot.
What is it?
It is a self-published book by Christopher Cologne.
Chris Cologne? Smells good to me.
But
look at her. That broke that fucking cold little exterior. He's like, hee.
But it is spelled Colon.
Him punny.
But Double Jackpot is a book about a comic book artist, Eric, who is in a loveless relationship with a materialistic
I feel you, Eric.
Lynette.
Oh, fucking. Are you sure I didn't write this? Sounds hauntingly familiar.
He starts cheating on his girlfriend with a more creatively supportive woman, Nadia.
Well, I gotta meet her. Where's the Nadia?
There's your summer girlfriend.
Summer Nadia is Nadia.
Nadia?
Yeah, I think Nadia spelled with an A.
All right.
Both Lynette and Nadia play the double jackpot, the largest payout in lotto history, much like the recent Powerball. Both girls play his birth date as the winning numbers. Eric is now stuck between two of the country's richest women. Who will he choose? It's not that simple. This is a clever fucking idea,
yeah,
man.
Is.
Look at her, fucking. She's impressed.
I am.
She got some summer reading. Christopher Cologne smells real lovely with an original idea. This is. I've never heard this before.
I haven't either. This is a self-published book, much in the indie spirit as Kev's Clerks.
Oh, you don't even need to name check me. This is just a good idea. You could stand on your own, man. You don't even have to be like, hey, remember Clerks? This is nothing like that. This is way more original than Clerks. This is a good idea, man. Why didn't I think of this?
I need something to read. This book is part of the Comic Books, Heavy Metal, Video Games Trilogy Book 2. Odd I See, A Tale from the Road, coming soon.
Right on, man. It's part of a trilogy. This is the first part.
Way to write, man.
He's seeking a literary agent. Motherfuckers, anybody out there? There ain't no literary agents listening to this show, I assure you, sure. Sure. I assure you, sure. But somebody know a literary agent? Hook a motherfucker up! Chris Cologne come up with an original idea. I should tell Raskin. That's a good fucking idea, to be honest with you. That's a fucking rom-com right there. Megan, get Raskin on the phone. Isn't it possible to get Raskin on the phone? No?
Yeah.
I want to run it past him, man. I want to, and if it happens, I get a taste, Chris Cologne. I get a whiff, if you will.
The book could also be ordered on www.lulu.com.
That's lulu.com.
I understand that. I just want to spell it out.
Normally one says it that spells it. Still, lulu.com. What is that? Do you know what it is?
I don't know. All right. The book could also be ordered on www.lulu.com. Search for Double Jackpot Christopher Cologne. A paperback version of the book is $15, and a PDF file is only $5.
$5 is
Yeah.
insanely inexpensive. 15's not even that bad for a paperback version.
No.
This is $1 million idea right here. Like a movie about a dude who fucking is stuck between two chicks, both of who play his birthday and win the lottery. Come on! I can see that trailer. Chris Cologne is on to something. Nobody else can smell it but me.
I'll read it.
Thank you. I'm going to make that smelly joke.
I know. You're trying to get me to laugh again.
It worked once. Double Jackpot is a self-published book by Chris Cologne, man. It's the first book in his Comic Books, Heavy Metal, Video Games trilogy. Book 2, Odd I See, A Tale from the Road, should be coming out soon. Get all the information at Chris Cologne, like a motherfucker.
I will
his
totally
book,
read this.
Double Jackpot. I'm serious. I'm going to recommend that to fucking Raskin. How is that not a movie? You know what I'm saying? This could be a sexy movie. You could do an R-rated version. There could be nudie in it, and you could show them fucking both chicks. Maybe a little penetration. Maybe a butthole shot. No butthole, no care.
I would like to formally apologize to Christopher Cologne.
No, sex sells. Chris Cologne will appreciate that. He's like, thanks for throwing a few buttholes in there, man.
Don't forget to check out twostrangersonePodcast.net, your one-stop resource for everything show-related. You can find links to subscribe to us on iTunes or on Stitcher. You could also find links to buy my book, Double Jackpot, on twostrangersonepodcast.net.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool. And fuck you, I'm out.